You may have noticed that almost every title in this group of videos has the phrase diatonic intervals in it. But I haven't actually told you what that word diatonic means. And later on in the semester, I will give you a more sophisticated definition of what that word diatonic means. But for now, all you need to know is that a diatonic interval is the interval that we're measuring between the letter names of two notes. Suppose I want to find out what is the distance or the interval between C and A. That is a diatonic interval. All the intervals that we've been looking at so far in Over the Rainbow are examples of diatonic intervals, looking at the interval from C to C, from C to B, from B to G. Anytime we're asking what is the distance between two letter names, that's a diatonic interval. There is a counting problem that arises every time we try to count a diatonic interval, though. And that counting problem is going to plague us from now until the end of the semester. So I want to sort of address it right now. And let's actually take an example of a diatonic interval. Let's try to find the interval from C to A. Now, there are two ways that we could count the interval or the distance from C to A. We could start on C, and we could say, okay, we're starting on C, so I'm going to go to D, and that's 1. I'm going to go to E, and that's 2. I'm going to go to F, and that's 3. I'm going to go to G, and that's 4. I'm going to go to A, and that's 5. So the interval from C to A is a fifth. That's one way I could do it. But that's not actually the way that we do it when we count diatonic intervals. This is not the way that we're going to do it. It's an easy mistake to make, and it's a mistake we will almost inevitably make between now and the end of the semester, but it's not the way we do it. What we do actually do is we start counting 1 on our starting note. So if we're starting on C and going up to G, we start counting 1 on C. We count 2 on D, we count 3 on E, 4 on F, 5 on G, and then 6 on A. So the interval from C to A is actually the interval of a sixth, because we start counting on our starting note. Let me do a couple of other examples of this just to sort of drill this into us, because this is one of the trickiest things that we're going to have to get our minds around. Suppose I want to go from E up to A. So we're going to start on E. I'm going to go up to A. So I'm going to start on E. So E is going to be 1. I'm going to start counting 1 on my starting note, E. F is going to be 2. G is going to be 3. A is going to be 4. So the interval from E to A is the interval of a fourth. Again, I'm starting by counting 1 on my starting note. I'm not counting 1 on F, I'm counting 1 on E. Let's do one that's going down. Let's go down from B to D. So going down works exactly the same way. I'm going to be counting starting on 1. So B is my first note, so I'm going to count 1 on B, 2 on A, 3 on G, 4 on F, 5 on E, and 6 on D. So the interval from B to D is a sixth. And by the way, this would work whether I'm going from or counting from B to D, B down to D, or from D up to B. It doesn't matter which direction I count in, I will end up with the same answer. In fact, let's try that just to sort of prove that. So I want to go from D up to B. So we said B going down to D is a sixth. Let's see if D going up to B is also a sixth. So we're going to count. D is 1, again, counting 1 on the note that I start on. E is 2, F is 3, G is 4, A is 5, and B is 6. So yes, it doesn't matter whether I count from D up to B or from B down to D, it's still going to be the interval of a sixth. So that is an introduction to the counting problem. We'll have to remember this, and I'll remind you throughout the semester because we will always forget. It's one of the easiest things to forget. But when you are counting diatonic intervals, you always start counting 1 on your beginning note.